Natalie Porter pressed her small hands against the glass of Sweet Dreams Bakery, her breath creating small clouds of fog on the window. Inside the display glowed with warm light, illuminating rows of magnificent cakes, chocolate towers with glossy ganache, vanilla confections decorated with delicate sugar flowers, and rainbow layers that seemed to defy gravity. Each one had candles arranged carefully on top, ready to mark another year of someone's life. She was 6 years old today. 6 years old, and there would be no cake. Her mother, Jessica, knelt beside her on the sidewalk, her worn gray t-shirt and faded jeans telling their own story. "I know, sweetie," she said softly, her voice thick with the exhaustion of working double shifts at the diner. "I'm so sorry. Maybe next year things will be better." "It's okay, Mama," Natalie said in her small voice, trying to be brave even though tears threatened to spill. "I understand. We have to pay for the apartment first." Jessica pulled her daughter close, fighting back her own tears. They'd been struggling ever since Natalie's father had walked out 3 years ago. Jessica worked every hour she could, but it was never quite enough. This month had been especially hard. The car had broken down, and the repair had eaten up what little savings she'd managed to scrape together. There was nothing left for birthday celebrations. Neither of them noticed the man who'd stopped a few feet away watching them. Nathan Crawford was 32 years old and worth over $2 billion. He'd built his fortune in tech, creating a revolutionary app platform that had changed how people connected and shared content. He was known in business circles as brilliant, driven, and ruthlessly focused. He was also on his way to a birthday party, not his own, but his nephew's elaborate celebration at an exclusive venue across town. Nathan stood frozen. He was holding a gift bag that contained a $1,000 drone, a toy that his nephew would likely break or grow bored of within 48 hours. He looked at the little girl, Natalie, who was staring at a simple chocolate cake as if it were a holy relic. He remembered being 6. He remembered his own mother, who had worked as a seamstress, sewing until her fingers bled just to buy him a used bike for his birthday. He had forgotten that feeling. The boardroom meetings, the private jets, and the constant pursuit of more had numbed him to the reality of enough. He saw Jessica's hands, red, chapped, and trembling, and he saw the ghost of his own mother in her. Instead of walking past and getting into his waiting town car, Nathan stepped toward them. He didn't introduce himself as a billionaire. He didn't lead with his wealth. He simply cleared his throat and said, "Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear. It's a very big day for a very special person, isn't it?" Jessica looked up, her eyes immediately defensive, a reflex born of 1,000 small indignities that come with poverty. She saw a man in a perfectly tailored suit, yet his expression wasn't one of pity, but of a strange, quiet recognition. Nathan knelt down so he was eye level with Natalie. "I'm having a bit of a crisis," he said, lowering his voice as if sharing a secret. "I was supposed to bring a very important birthday cake to a party, but I realized I forgot to order the wishmaker kind. And I have a feeling you're the only person here who knows which one that is." Natalie looked at her mom, then back at Nathan. She pointed a tiny, trembling finger at the chocolate cake with the gold dust sprinkles. "That one has the most magic," she whispered. Nathan nodded solemnly. He walked into the bakery, Natalie and a bewildered Jessica following behind. He didn't just buy the cake, he bought the entire shelf. He told the baker to box up the cakes, the cookies, and the tarts. "We're going to need a lot of magic today," he said. As they stood at the counter, Nathan's phone buzzed incessantly. It was his assistant, reminding him of the high-profile party, the networking, the optics. Nathan silenced the phone and dropped it into his pocket. The optics of a billionaire's life suddenly felt like looking through a dirty lens. When they stepped back out onto the sidewalk, Nathan signaled his driver. The sleek black car pulled to the curb, and the driver hopped out to open the door. Jessica stepped back, shaking her head. "Sir, this is too much. We can't. I can't take this from you." Nathan looked at her, and for the first time in years, the ruthless CEO let his guard down. "It's not for you, Jessica. It's for the boy I used to be, who didn't have anyone to stop and notice. Please. Let me give Natalie the day she deserves." Something in his voice broke Jessica's pride. They didn't go to the exclusive venue across town. Instead, Nathan asked Jessica where Natalie's friends lived. They drove to a small, run-down public park near their apartment complex. What happened over the next 3 hours was something the neighborhood would talk about for years. Nathan didn't just drop off food, he stayed. He used his phone to call a local catering company and ordered pizzas for every person in the park. He hired a clown who happened to be performing 3 blocks away to come over. He sat on the grass, his expensive suit getting stained by the earth, and helped Natalie blow out the candles on that magic cake. He watched as the color returned to Jessica's face, not from the food, but from the relief of seeing her daughter truly happy. He saw the community come together, strangers sharing cake, children laughing, the heaviness of the neighborhood lifting for just a moment. As the sun began to set, Nathan prepared to leave. Natalie ran up to him and hugged his knees. "Thank you, Mr. Magic," she said. He smiled, a genuine, unpracticed smile. But as he walked toward his car, he stopped. He looked at the apartment building across the street, the one Jessica had mentioned they were struggling to pay for. He saw the peeling paint and the broken windows. He realized that a cake and a party were just a temporary fix for a permanent problem. He turned to his driver. "Find out who owns that building. And the three next to it. I want the deeds on my desk by Monday morning." That stun wasn't just the party. It was what followed. 2 weeks later, Jessica received a registered letter. She opened it with trembling fingers, expecting an eviction notice. Instead, she found a deed to a small, refurbished townhouse in a safe neighborhood, along with a scholarship fund for Natalie that would cover her education all the way through college. There was also a job offer for Jessica at Nathan's corporate headquarters, not as a waitress, but as a community outreach coordinator, a role designed to find other families slipping through the cracks. Nathan Crawford didn't go to his nephew's party that night. He went home to his quiet penthouse, but for the first time, the silence didn't feel hollow. He realized that his billions were just numbers on a screen until they were used to change the trajectory of a human soul. He sat at his desk and wrote a single note to himself, which he framed and kept there for the rest of his life. It was a drawing Natalie had made for him on a napkin at the park, a messy, crayon-colored circle with 6 lines on top. Underneath, she had written in shaky letters, "The cake made the wish come true." Nathan looked at it and knew that he hadn't saved that little girl. She had saved him from a life of being rich, but entirely empty. The greatest investment he ever made wasn't in tech, it was in the belief that no child should ever have to draw their birthday cake in the dust.